And we are ready to go. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, and today we are talking with the proprietor of the Haltom Theater in City, Chaz Buchanan. Chaz, welcome.
Hi, Daniel. How are you? Honored to be on your show today, man, and honored to be asked to be on Morning Coffee.
Well, it's great to have you here. I liken it to having a cup of coffee and talking with friends. Used to do that all the time at a coffee shop, and you just meet the most interesting people. And I wanted to share that experience with those that I know and let them hear the interesting stories that I used to hear. So tell us about the Haltom Theater.
Well, the Haltom Theater, we opened the business about 4 years ago. It originally opened on Pearl Harbor Day, 1941, December 7th, in the 40s. It shut down in the mid 80s, and then it was a video furniture store for a little while, and then it shut down in the 90s, and then it set for 20 plus years. Then me and my family, we saw the property and we were really fell in love with it, and we wanted to bring it back to life for the modern age. In this area, it's kind of like a jewel that's been sitting there dormant forever. It's like the sleeping giant. Everybody drove by it and always had dreams and aspirations of doing something with it. And we just got to be lucky enough to be the family that brought it back to life. And my lovely wife, she was involved in it. And it was one of those journeys that once you know everything's said and done and you're old and you're looking back at your life, you're gonna say, "Man, that was really rewarding. I got to be with my mother, my father, my wife, and we got to just really, just live the dream that most people wish that they got to do." And we put a lot of love into the business, and we're celebrating our 4th year right now, and we run about 5 to 6 shows a week, ranging from anything from hip hop to heavy metal to burlesque shows, drag shows, live professional wrestling, stand up comedy. You name it, we do it. Pretty much our deal is we want to have at least one event on our calendar a month that everybody will want to go see. No matter what you're into, we want to be so diverse and have such a variety that you will at least be able to find at least one thing on our calendar that will appeal to you, hopefully.
Now, I remember when you guys were just putting this together, and I drove to the outside of the building before I walked in there, and a bunch of just words came to mind that I think happens to a lot of people when they drive by the theater, and it's iconic
Mm.
and historic and landmark, and what you guys did to the inside of that, completely changing the way it looked and the layout on the inside was just absolutely phenomenal. You've got a full-on restaurant there, is that correct?
It's a bar diner and 2 bars. So what we serve is uh, quality bar food. So you get your hamburgers, your hot dogs, your chicken sandwiches,
Hmm.
all the good stuff to watch a concert or show. We're not open as a diner 7 days a week. So the diner will only be open to complement any shows that we have.
I
So
see.
just
Uh-huh.
just think of us as a live event space. So if we have a live event, we're open.
Hmm.
Which, like you said, we're open about 5 to 6 days a week. So since 2020, we've ran more shows than any other venue in the Metroplex.
That's a that's quite a feat because there's a lot of
Yeah, it
venues
it, it really is.
running.
Yeah. We to put it into perspective, like I said, we run about 5 to 6 a week. We're running anywhere between probably 250 to 300 shows a year.
Hmm.
So it's
That
it's a lot of shows. And
Yeah, that's
every 4 weeks or so, we do live professional wrestling. To just kind of put it into perspective. So we do have a lot of those marquee events that we like to go back to. So if you like wrestling, you like stand-up comedy, just make sure that you follow our calendar, and we do circle back around to those types of events.
so. What's happening this weekend?
Okay, cool. Yeah, you pulled up a graphic for Gord in the heart of Texas. That's our big festival this year. It has over 20 plus death metal bands from the area. So it's heavy metal. Most of the logos look like Twix and sticks. You can't really read them, but that's how you know it's going to be a good heavy metal show. That's how they always say. How do you know it's going to be good? Well, can you read the logos? No, it's going to be the greatest show you've ever been to. So it's going to be a good one. 20 plus bands. It's going to be a rocking time, starting around 2 or 3 each day and going until about 1 or 2 in the morning. So we got some fun death metal festivals. We've had film festival here just a couple weeks ago. We had the Longhorn Film Festival, and we're
Hmm.
bringing that back next year. So we try to, like I said, keep it diverse, and that heavy metal festival that you just mentioned, Gordon in the heart of Texas, that's this Friday and Saturday. I think it's going to be possibly the best death metal festival in the Metroplex in 2022.
I've only seen this many bands in an outdoor venue, so it's really exciting, especially in Texas, where you need the AC and the
Mm,
indoor comfort to be able to see 20 death metal bands uh, in one location inside in the comfort, where you can have you got your bathrooms, you got your bars, two of them to choose from. I'm sure the restaurant will be or the
the bar
yeah,
diner.
the bar
Yep.
diner will be open for people when it's time for them to rehydrate and get their energy up for the next round.
That's kind of the game. We're very unique in that regard. Like you were saying, there's not too many venues this size that are indoor. You kind of have the Lava Cantina. You have the Ridgely. You have us. I guess you have Amplified. Which we run around 1,000 people at full max occupancy. That puts us in rarefied air. There's just a handful of venues that can host shows and big festivals of that size, and house 1,000 people indoor, like you said, where we can cover people from the elements and the rain and the snow and the heat and the cold, and we have AC heat. And we have a really nice smoking patio too. So if anybody's needing to smoke cigarettes, there's no smoking inside. But we thought about you guys too. It's one of the largest smoking sections I've ever seen. So we just didn't want to leave anybody out. We wanted to make sure that we thought everything out, and we have ample parking. We've been able to park around 400 to 500 cars on our location, and it's always free parking. So that's another benefit about coming to the Haltom. If you go to Dallas, you're going to spend $10 to $15 on parking immediately right out the gate. And that's
Hmm.
before you even walked up and paid for a cover or anything. So with that $15 saved, you could have a few drinks, you could have a meal, you could have 2 meals for the money you just saved up parking to coming to a show at the Haltom.
And I've always found that it's kind of iffy with parking in Dallas. Sometimes the person you pay to park there is not the person you're supposed to pay to park there, and
Yeah,
you.
there's a lot of scams going on in Dallas, and sometimes it could be a little dangerous. Just always go to Deep Ellum and stuff with a friend. That would be always my thing. But please go support the venues in Deep Ellum as well. I got a lot of friends out there.
Mhm.
Reno's Chop Shop. Um, Trees. There's a couple venues out there that a lot of the staff are close personal friends. It's a weird thing, kind of like film or anything else.
Yeah.
You get a networking group, and you think that it's there's just so much people and so many people to know, but really when you get ingrained in it, it's a tight knit family, and all the venue owners kind of know each other. All the venues kind of know each other, and we kind of all look at each other and see kind of what's working for everyone else and what's kind of working for us, and we kind of play off of each other. Like, oh, well, that venue over there has done a whole bunch of these types of events, and they've done successful. Maybe we should try that as well. Or you'll
Yeah.
call somebody, or you know, a lot of the bands that we have, they play other locations in the area, so it's more like if I'm doing good, other venues are doing good. If other venues are doing good, I'm doing good. It's like a scene, you know. It, you try to get ingrained in that. Most of the music that we do is all original, so we don't do cover or tribute bands. So literally, if somebody's on our stage performing, they're performing their music. If it's hip hop, if it's heavy metal, if it's hard rock, if it's folk music, if it's anything, it's literally not a cover or tribute band. We rarely ever do that. So you might see one or two to maybe five cover tribute bands at the Haltom in a year. So to put it into perspective, you know, out of those 250 to 300 shows, a typical night at the Haltom will be about 5 to 6 bands, all original, and they're playing the hearts out for the crowd.
You know, it's I lost my train of thought. That happens to me when I don't drink enough coffee. I was going to say that the tribute bands, that's it. Just doesn't. They just don't seem to be coming around. I think is probably the thing. If they came, you would have them. Is that correct?
Oh no, I don't think so. We actually have more tribute bands in this market than probably anywhere else. We do have a couple tribute bands here and there. We have a Prince tribute band that we got coming up, and they're called Legacy 1999. And then we got a Guns N' Roses tribute band coming here in December. But honest to God, we get offered tribute and cover bands every day. Literally, I think that makes up probably about 75-80% of the market. But you know, it's venues in the entertainment industry, especially in the pandemic and recession times. It's a it's a weird thing because it's not essential stuff. You don't have to be entertained to pay your bills. You have to have money to pay your bills, pay your electricity, pay your rent. So we're one of those things like after you paid everything, you have a little bit of money to go out and enjoy your life and have fun. So you bring it to
Yeah.
our place, and we try to keep the prices low. But at the same time, I want to foster you know, I don't want 10 years from now, I just had a whole bunch of Guns N' Roses tribute bands. I want to be able to say, oh, no, this band and this band started here. This band and this band came through our
Yeah.
area and played here. Uh, you know, I want to be the place, you know, 30 years ago that Red Hot Chili Peppers and Nirvana and these bands were playing at, you know, that when they were starting out or they were just getting established before they made the
Hmm.
big arenas and stuff. Those are the types of acts I want. And
Yeah.
you know, I want to be able to say, oh man, we had all these great rock and roll Hall of Fame worthy bands over the course of the 20, 30 years that I do this, you know?
And you mentioned it earlier that you do more than just one type of thing. It's not just music that goes there. You've also got the film festivals happening, and I remember seeing advertisements for a burlesque show, even.
Oh yeah, we do burlesque, we do drag shows, we do a little bit of everything. We like I said, we tip our hat and being able to bring all types of artisans in
Hmm.
here. But
Yeah.
the main thing to us is they have to be original acts for the most part, and whatever they do, they have to be they have to have a kind of a following in the fan base in the area, but more than anything, it has to be genuine art. We have a big competition stage and burlesque shows. That's a different type of art, you know, dance and art,
Hmm.
and really trying to amp up that, yeah, you know, there's so many different styles of art,
Hmm.
art interpretation. We've had fire dancers here, we have all sorts of stuff. We've had variety shows where there's magicians and you name it, we do it. It what it comes down to is entertainment and art crosses over. So when somebody's like, "Oh, I do the movie industry," or "I'm in film," well, what do you have to do to make a film? Well, you have to be good at photography and videography if you're the camera operator. If you're the sound guy, you got to know about sound waves and putting things together. And if you're doing the score, you got to know about music. It's just a totally different things that add together to make a project. Well, it's the same thing in anything. It's just like you don't realize how much stuff crosses over. It really does. Like you wouldn't believe it, but like Pro Tools and the way that you cut things up is just like Final Cut or Adobe. They're just editing software. They just do different things, right? Different
Yeah.
buttons, different softwares, but the same thing. Music is music. Art is art. Comedy is comedy. It's how do you want to express yourself? I tell this to people all the time. I'm not an artist. Well, you don't have to be an artist to be an artist, like a draw or painting. You know, I'm not a painter. I don't draw well. But can you do something else? Can you sculpt? Can you sing? There's just so many ways to be an artist. I think there's an artist in every one of us. We just don't
Hmm.
know what we're good at.
And I think really my point is that aside from this weekend where you're having 2 days of the same festival going on, but it would be a different act every couple of
Oh yeah,
hours.
every day.
Uh,
Well, to put it
but
in perspective. Oh,
if
go
you
ahead.
come if you show up at 5 different days, uh, 5 separate days, you're going to get something new every single day. You're going to be surprised at the quality of the entertainment that you're going to find on those days.
I think so. Put it into perspective. This week, Thursday, we have a big hip hop show. Uh, Yesterday, we had a alternative genre alternative rock show. Last week we had rave, dance industrial rave. We've had goth nights where people dress up in spandex and latex and leather outfits and dance, and there's so many different things. Uh, my lovely wife, she's a bartender here, and she gets to dress up in all the different outfits, and she looks different every day. That's what I'll say. Every day she looks different. So it's a lot of variety going on. A lot of different types of events, and like you said, you come 5 days, you'll see five different things and five totally different crowds.
I'm trying to pull something up here to share with the audience. See if I can do this real quick as I learn as we go. And allow. Look at that. Here's the location of the Haltom Theater. It's 5601 Belknap Street, Haltom City, Fort Worth, Texas, or Haltom City, Texas,
Well, here's the thing on that.
76117.
You could put either Fort Worth or Haltom City in. We're literally half a mile away from the Fort Worth line, and most people that are big promoters, because we'll book shows with talent buyers are promoters, and they'll put the address on the flyers, and sometimes they'll put Fort Worth because if you put Fort Worth in your GPS, it still brings you here.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so you could do Fort Worth or Haltom City. I don't even feel when somebody's like, "Oh, the Haltom Theater's in Fort Worth." Yeah, that works for me. It's easier to tell people Fort Worth sometimes than Haltom City because most people know Fort Worth. It's a top 10 location in the United States as far as cities and metropolitan areas. So yeah, I Fort Worth is what I like to say that we kind of are, even though we're nestled right there in Haltom City, and it is the Haltom Theater. But I have no problems claiming Fort Worth.
Now, if anybody wants to find out on any given day what's going on at the Haltom, can they call this number right here?
They sure can, and that'll direct you right to my cell phone. So you'll be getting a hold of me, and if you have any questions in regards to any show coming up to the Haltom, I can sure get you that information. But the easiest way to ever find out new information is to follow us on Instagram or Facebook. And every day we update the page with what's happening that night and kind of what's happening that weekend or what's coming up in the coming weeks. But if you have Instagram or Facebook, follow the Haltom Theater. That is by far the
Oh,
best
didn't
way
mean
to
to do
follow
that one.
us.
Sorry. Let me
Oh,
remove
that's
that right
okay.
quick. I'm going
I
to try
like
to
Ike
navigate
Duncan.
it.
Ike Duncan's a good dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to have him on Tuesday, and we had sound issues, and so we
Oh,
wound up re-recording it. And so tomorrow we're going to broadcast his interview and talk about his movie Pandemic. Actually, that leads me right to this. So yeah, tomorrow's show uh, is going to be on the 23rd, and that'll be Pandemic. On Monday, I'll be talking with Nathan D. Myers from the Fort Worth Actors Studio. They've got a lot of exciting things coming up then. So there's that.
nice.
Let me get that.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I like Ike. Ike also hosts the Endeavor Cinema Group stuff, or he did for
Yes,
a long time.
he did for a good while there, and I
Mm,
think he moved on to a couple of different things.
okay.
And I know he had little bit of a medical emergency there for a while, but
Yeah.
he is all better.
But he's a jam up guy. I really like him. He's a gentleman in every sense of the word.
All right, so let me pull this up right quick here. If I can. Okay, yeah. Now I will bring this back up. If I, where'd it go? Got to do this one more time.
Oh, that's okay.
Here we go. Oh, there it is. There we go. This is what's going on. Coming up here at the. Oh, wrong one. Hold on.
Yep. So that Gordon, the Heart of Texas is Friday and Saturday. Then we got Sunday. We have a couple bands from Oklahoma City, and then Monday we have a comedy show. So a lot coming up in the next 4 days.
And of course, you can always find out more on at facebook.com
Yep.
and search out the Haltom Theater,
Oh yeah.
or just
And
call Chaz direct.
you could, if you call the theater number, it will direct you straight to my cell phone, just like you were
Now,
calling me.
is that the number for trying to get booked as well?
Yep, I pretty much wear a lot of hats. So I book, I manage the place, and sometimes I'm even the janitor when I need to be.
You wear all the hats when you're the owner.
All the hats, all of them.
Well, this portion of the program was brought to you by DMRHosting.com. Hosting as low as $4.95 a month, unlimited traffic, 5 domain names hosted, 500 emails, 30-day free trial. If you act today, DMRHosting.com. That's DMRHosting.com. Chaz, it's been a pleasure to do this with you. I'm glad we had a chance to do it. I'm glad people are going to be hearing about the Halton Theater, and I hope they come out and see what's going on there and find something that they love and become steady patrons.
Thank you so much, Daniel, and thank you for having me on Morning Coffee. And look forward to being on it in the future.
We will be glad to have you back. And thanks for joining us, folks. Have a great day.